Thanks for joining. I might just let everyone kind of join, and I'll put some music in the background. Don't hate me on my playlist.
We might.
No, we walk around the world stepping out, giving a damn about what our feet land at.
All right, so we are about to start. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join in. So I'm just putting music in the background for everybody to join. Sorry for the people that hate Drake. All right, I think we can start now. We've got a few people in listening. I don't want people to drop off. So I think we might just start the room. Thank you so much for everybody joining in. This is our second LinkedIn audio with xenabler. We're really excited about this one because we've got really, really awesome panelists on this. So the topic today is how big brands are bridging from web2 to web3. And we've got a couple of experts in the room to really guide us through what's been happening in the web3 space and how brands are merging and what the success of that looks like. So I'm just going to go around the room and get everybody to introduce themselves separately and individually because everybody sells themselves a lot better than I can. So I'll start with Chris. Do you want to just jump in and give a quick introduction of what you have got going on, your background, and what you're currently doing?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Belinda. Hi, everyone. Good morning from Copenhagen. My name is Chris Ebling. I am one of the co-founders at Virtually Human Studios, where our focus is the future of entertainment in the Web3 space. So we have a flagship project called Z-Run, which is a horse racing ecosystem, which uses the dangerous word NFTs. I call it truly digital asset ownership, truly digitally owned asset these days, powered by blockchain, where users can own digital racehorses, breed them, race them, and much more in the future. We are focused on creator economies, and we are still building, but we've had some really great early success. We're also building another project called Human Park, which is more akin to your Roblox, again, using blockchain technologies to give users ownership over their digital assets, ownership over their creations. And this is really more focused on self-identity, self-expression, community, tribalism, as well as fashion again, I'm putting quotation marks up, in the metaverse. So we're really focused on, bridging the gap between Web 2 to Web 3, not just for brands, but also just for our users and communities. There's a lot of onboarding that needs to be done, a lot of education that needs to be done, and that's why these spaces are great, so we can kind of speak about what we do, help educate, and help onboard and grow the ecosystem. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate that. I'll start with second, Matt. Jump in. What do you got going on at the moment? And give me a little introduction of who Matt is.
Okay, thank you, Belinda. Guten Morgen from Germany here. I just flew in from Dubai last night and previously was in Melbourne. I'm the founder of a company called Wolf, CEO as well of the company. And what we do is we are an agile tech development company, so we help projects launch into the Web3 space. We've got projects of our own. We successfully sold out 3 NFT projects of ourselves and helped about 150 other projects right now. We are currently focused at this game that we're building called Racer Club, and that's why I'm here in Berlin. We won the finalist spot for the community vote to be here to present to a live audience on what we're doing. Just like Zed, we're also in the racing but not gambling side. We're more the creator economy, as far as, we call it licenses for communities to join and start their own racer club, all utilizing their own NFTs and tokens. We love use cases of real use cases of NFTs and tokens. So that's why we're here building, and we'll continue to help as much as we can in this space. I'm known as Toastpunk on Twitter, so if anyone wants to follow me there, I'll be there. Thank you, Belinda and Prashant.
Thanks, Maddie. Really appreciate that. Bertrand, did you want to go next?
Sure. Hi everyone. I am Bertrand. I'm living in Zurich in Switzerland, so I'm quite close to Mathieu right now. I am marketing lead in a company called Bravos. At Bravos, we are building a wallet that we call a next generation of wallet, and it is made for an intuitive and safe start in crypto. So really about like bridging people coming from web2 and helping them to dive in web3. Why do we call our wallet like next generation? It's because it is a smart contract based wallet. Smart contract based wallet is a new type of wallet which is allowed from a new technology called ZK Rollup. If you are not aware about these terms, basically it's quite simple. Imagine you have like as a first layer Ethereum. On Ethereum you have different scalability solution like Polygon. So I think everyone knows Polygon. So on next to Polygon, you have like new type of scalability solution, which are called ZK Rollup. And Starknet is one of these ZK Rollup, like one of the most promising actually. And Bravos is the wallet for Starknet. So Ethereum, ZK Rollup with Starknet, and then Bravos with the wallet. Those ZK Rollup are this new technology which allow to create wallet which are smart contract based. And I think we're gonna talk about what is smart contract based a little bit later.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm going to jump in and start asking questions. What I like to do is go around the room, ask questions, and then halfway through, so about 30 minutes into the live audio, I'll go into the audience and ask questions, because last time we found that there was so many people raising their hands wanting to ask questions to the panel. So I hope you guys don't mind if we do that halfway through. So I'm just going to go around the room and you guys can jump in, whoever can answer the question. The first question that we've got here is, what is the difference between Web 2 and Web 3? Web 3 is such a hype at the moment, and it's very kind of in the air, especially with the market right now. So can you guys just jump in and explain what are the difference between Web 2 and Web 3?
I can answer that if you want. I'll chime in here. So I had the opportunity just 2 days ago to explain to my mother, who just came back from a 30-day cruise, about what blockchain and Web3 is, because she was kind of worried. She says, "Oh, Matt, I heard there's some FTX bankruptcy. Are you okay?" So I had to go through and explain. But it's as simple as this. I just told my mom, I said, Web3 is basically the new internet. Okay, where we don't rely on big computing data servers anymore. It's all on the blockchain, which is decentralized, and there's plenty of computers out there, and also other forms of ways how we store data, and it's immutable. Simple as that. That's the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. My mom, I think, got it at like the second go after I explained a few other case studies, but pretty much that's what it is.
That's a really good explanation. Dumb it down. Chris, did you want to go in and jump in?
Yeah, look, I agree with what Matt's saying, of course, and what we do. For example, Zrun, which is our horse racing ecosystem, is a really good tangible use case in that sense. You have your for example, Fortnite, which is an amazing game. If nobody knows what Fortnite is, they should look it up. But I believe everybody in the room would know what that is. Where you actually, it's a free-to-play game, but you own all these you lease, I'm putting quotation marks up against, you don't really own any of your digital assets. And for us in the entertainment space, with using blockchain, you can now give back utility and ownership to people who play your game. So you're now sharing part of your experience with the users. And again, this creates a stronger emotional connection, but it also gives them opportunity to actually reap rewards. So Web3 basically is that next iteration of the internet. Web2, we could produce content, we could put it out there. Web3, we can produce content, we can put it out there, and we can own it now. And it's all provably and immutable, as Matt said. It's all on the blockchain there for everybody to see. It's a transparent ledger system. So people can see who's owning what, and you can prove that that digital item or that piece of work or that creation is yours.
Bertrand, did you want to jump in and give your explanation on the difference between Web 2 and Web 3?
Sure, and with pleasure. The way we try to interpret it in our daily job is decentralization, of course, and Matt and Chris explain it. And the second point is what Chris, you intend to say is ownership. Decentralization, because the system you're going to use are not centralized, so they are not owned by one entity, but they are owned by the people who use it, basically. Ownership is the fact that you're going to have somehow to own the system you use to make them working. So this is two aspects: decentralization and ownership, which then are translated by more privacy, more security, and more, I would say, ubiquity. Do we say? Is it correct with my French accent?
It is.
Fantastic, thanks.
Cool.
Belinda.
Awesome.
So how about I add one more thing to it, to the equation here, basically. So with Web 2 and Web 3, just deep diving a little bit further into it. So you've got Bitcoin, and Bitcoin maxis will tell you that they are the only true form of decentralization. And then everyone else will just say, yeah, you know what, we are also decentralized. But why Bitcoin says that is because, you know, Satoshi being a anon person and someone who does not actually control anything on the Bitcoin chain right now, they believe that that's why they are. Now, I think decentralization has a lot to do with also finance. And when we talk about DeFi, we talk about, we compare current Web3 space versus what we have right now, which is reserve banks printing out money for us, and they control what money they give out to the market or to the country, and therefore we know the value of that particular currency. DeFi, however, is us minting our own money, our own tokens, our own coins, and therefore I think that's the part where, as a whole, the decentralized phase of things is much better, and that's the true, I think, genuine nature of Web3, where we can now have full control of what we want as far as finance is concerned. We can choose to mint, we can choose not to mint, we can choose to buy, we can choose to sell, we can choose to trade, and do this all, on various types of exchanges, whether it's decentralized or centralized exchanges. But yeah, this is where I think the power of Web3 is going to move the world forward better.
Thanks, Matthew. Following question to that. So now that we understand more about like what Web3 is, which is the one particular brand activation in Web3 is your favorite, like that has done really well, and why?
Okay, I'll chime in there.
Yeah, sure.
I think quickly on that matter. So far, the one that done it in a volume-centric way was Reddit. Obviously, they did it really, really well. They basically converted their profile pics into digital collectibles, which was really, really good. Another good one as well, from a bulk or mass approach, is Starbucks. Starbucks did it really well as well. Both went on the Polygon chain, so kudos to Polygon for that there. But yeah, I think mass adoption is, can happen anytime, anywhere. Like, imagine if a car manufacturer tomorrow makes their whole computer systems or their tagging systems, turn into a decentralized format. Or similarly as well, imagine if governments also do the same as well. So yeah, I think the examples are those two examples. I would say the best so far. Other than that, obviously the NFT, which you don't like to say that word a lot, but the NFT side of things through the profile pic collectibles also did it pretty well, I think, for a particular time. But obviously now we know that use case is a big issue that we need to tackle. So Moving forward, I think that will be, the genuine utility and the genuine way people can be onboarded into Web3.
Understand. And Chris, what brands have you seen like they have done really well, like brand activation in the space?
Yeah, look, I always fall back on still the Web2 branding because I think again we're in a transitional stage. I think we really want to be Web3 today, but my belief is actually we're transitioning. We are in a more of a Web 2.3, if you ask me. We're wanting to go to 2. The one that resonates with me the most is actually, again, we're entertainment, so we're focused on games. Is what like the people like Fortnite and Roblox do. So when Travis Scott, again, as a brand of his own, as a celebrity, had that concert in Fortnite, I mean that blew my mind as an entertainment, and the possibilities there. If you take that and you start linking in, blockchain technology and true digital asset ownership on top of that, and consumer touch points, here millions of people were able to, jump into a concert. Yes, there were different cloned worlds and different realms, but they were there and able to experience an artist that they loved in a totally unique, different way. And if you now add true digital asset ownership to that, if he's now wearing those new digital Nikes and he's wearing that new, bling or whatever cap, which you also can own as a digital avatar later on, and that unlocks and gamifies and gives you utility elsewhere, access in the past. I think that's really where my mind goes and where I get excited. And again, it's a really good start to onboarding, staying in Web 2, showing how these brand activations work there. Roblox is doing it with loads of brands daily. I just saw Fortnite, they just did a partnership with Ralph Lauren Polo, for example, which again made me do a double take because I'm like, what? That's crazy. And now you can buy, Ralph Lauren shirts with the llama on it, the Fortnite llama on it, which, they look pretty cool. So anyway, so like looking at that's where we're going to catch the people. That's where we're going to catch the masses and really educate them on how these brands are working in these digital realms. Like these are metaverses in their own right, Roblox and Fortnite. They have 100 million users daily. And then transitioning that into the Web3 space is really where I'm focused. But from our standpoint, we've done some major partnerships. We've done work with Budweiser, helped usher them into the Web3 space. So we have Budweiser skins for our Zed Run Hey racehorses, Budweiser tournaments. We're actually doing a major live event activation at the St. Louis Brewery in December, which is going to be huge. So everybody who owns a Budweiser pass, NFT, digital asset, they now have utility. This pass acts as a entrance to this live event where they can go and hang out with like-minded people. They can watch some digital horse racing, drink some Budweiser. You got to be over 18, over 21 in some states. Yeah.
So basically, what you are saying is that the Web2 brands that are doing marketing, branding, and community in a traditional way, that are entering Web3 market by expanding the community in Web3 space, or are they more like taking the Web2 community and transitioning them into Web3 communities?
Well, see, yeah, that's where we have to come in, and we have to help transition them. So
Understand.
I think Fortnite, Roblox, they're staying. As far as I'm aware, they're going to be staying in Web 2.
Okay.
But
yes.
where we can come in as builders, creators, innovators, is taking those heuristical elements, is taking those familiar approaches. Something we're really focused on right now is a free-to-play and earn model. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
so looking at things like Candy Crush, Subway Surfer, or these free-to-play game and apps on your mobile phone, why are they so successful? How can they onboard all these people, and how can we build in a similar way to then bring people in on a Web 2 way, off-chain, but then transition them through the experience of your project into Web 2.5 and then further into Web 3.
Understand. And Bertrand, I think you are trying to say something.
Sorry, no, I unmute just because I like to click on this button.
That's okay.
But if you ask me the same question, I don't have specific brand, but more like industry. It's what I observe and what I like is how like luxury brands are coming on the Web3, especially on the metaverse. The work they do is really interesting. They do it first, for the project I'm close enough. I know that the goal was more about test their brand along the already Web3 community. So to see if people, were still in line with their values, with their mission and so on. Most likely it works because those big brands have still this branding effect. And people also in Web3 see their, way to get closer to this company and be like the first community member, let's say. So I think what the luxury brand are doing, especially towards the metaverse, is really, really, really interesting. And there are a lot of use cases to study when we want to come into Web3. Real estate is doing promising things right now. I find interesting the way they really approach the market, even if in terms of regulation, they have a lot of challenges, but they are still managing it. But the industry would do not success at all in Web3 is, of course, the financial industry, which couldn't move from where they stand and come into the Web3 industry. So that's why there is a completely new financial industry which is building every day.
Understand. And sorry, go ahead, Belinda.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to jump in and kind of switch it up because I'm seeing, and obviously I want to be super transparent here. Everybody on LinkedIn is seeing the whole FTX blow up and everything that, everybody is talking about right now in AFR and the media and the Web3 doesn't have a good light on it anymore. The hype isn't really there like it used to be. So a lot of people in the Web3 I've been speaking to in the last week or so have been questioning, whether they want to be in the space because of the media blow up, right? And this comes down to marketing. So I have a question, I guess, to Bertrand or Chris. Maybe you could answer this a little bit better. When it comes to brand, when we ask the question of what benefits will brands get by experiencing the Web3, and brands always have the pushback of FTX and this and that, and nobody really likes the Web3 and crypto is crap and nobody really wants to buy it anymore because of the market. What's your, I guess, experience with brands merging into the Web3? And what are the benefits now that they can get?
I'm happy to jump in. First off, with every new technology and every new innovation, there's going to be bad actors, right? The technology is great. There's no doubt about that. Blockchain is here to stay in my mind. And just because the bad actor comes in there and has done what he's done, which is, it's ludicrous every day. There's new stories about what's going on there. But I'll leave the details out. Anybody can go on and Google FTX and see what's happened. But that shouldn't, take away from the power and the innovation and the amazing things that you can do with blockchain. In terms of bringing brands into the space, what it offers is amazing touch points between, again, we can say as an individual, as a brand, again, if I say take someone like Travis Scott or any other celebrity, it offers touch points and ways for consumers and fandom, users to get closer to people they like or to brands they like. So, and on top of that, using the smart contracts and the tokenizations, you can now offer utility, which you couldn't before, right? Now that you own this, again, I'll take a Budweiser token, it gives you access to something that you otherwise didn't have. It allows you entry points to certain places. You can now gamify these experiences again. So what's happening is a lot of these things are becoming gamification. And if you ask people what, Web3 and the metaverse, which is another word, I'm putting my quotation marks up, is a tangible outcome of Web3, right? And people say, the metaverse is the internet created by game developers because it's going to have agency, it's going to be fully 3D. You can jump in on your phone, you can jump in on your VR headset, you can jump in on your computer, probably your console at some point, or your extended reality Apple glasses, right? So and what the metaverse is going to be this three-dimensional spatial awareness where you are going to have agency and an identity. And again, it makes so much perfect sense. And Matthew mentioned real estate. You're going to be able to own real estate in these places. And if you're going to buy real estate in the metaverse, you're going to want to do it like in the real world. Where does the traffic happen? Like, what's the best location? Where do you get most eyes? And if you then buy a building there, you'll be able to put sponsorships on it at some point, right? You'll be able to put banners, whether it's Budweiser or Nike. The clothes you wear, all these things, which are, human traits and psychology, what we do in the real world, we're going to be doing in these digital spaces. So it makes perfect sense for brands to come in, and not only can you own, say, those Nike shoes, or again, shout out to those Artifact Nike shoes. But by owning those, you'll get real world items. So you get your phygital item. On top of that item also acts as a pass or a collection, which unlocks something else down the line as a consumer. So the opportunities are endless. You of course need to have a really strong roadmap and strategy behind it. But once you start, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, you can actually intertwine and make an experience like never seen before. And that's really what the power is behind it. And it's all, again, transparent and provably fair and on the blockchain for everyone to see. So you can't fraud the system.
So from what we are hearing is more about luxury brand and the brand with a huge market and the customer engagement value and all that. What about the traditional brands, as we said, finance is the biggest use case in blockchain, but then when it comes to web3 and all that, where does traditional businesses like financial or retail and all that they sit, and how can they, what are their benefit to get into web3, and how can they utilize this new ecosystem? Matt, you want to go?
Can I just I just want to add that, but before I answer the question for Sean about traditional finance, I want to talk a little bit about what Chris said before about Nike. So we're asking ourselves, how do we get Web3 brands, Web2 brands into Web3? And one of the key things we're going to understand is what does the actual brands want to do? And interestingly enough, I saw an article yesterday on Nike where Nike is suing StockX, one of the biggest sellers of Nike shoes, to say, hey, you're not allowed to convert, because they try to convert their shoes into NFTs and supply it out. So they got sued, which is good because it shows that Nike is in favor of protecting the artifact relationship they've got and CloneX, so that they can push forward towards the Web3 side. So this is where I think also it's quite important. What is the ethos of these older brands in the Web2 space? Like Nike, obviously it's quite obvious that they want to be in the Web3 space and their future is there, and they're also giving respect to their existing relationships there, no matter what it is. Because if you think about it, StockX is a multi-billion-dollar source for them, even though it's not as big as. It is much more bigger than Artifact. They still value that relationship there. So I want to answer that part there, but I'll leave someone else to answer the finance thing.
Bertrand, you want to go ahead?
Sure. To answer the second question, which was, do all business need to utilize Web3? No. The answer is clearly no. And the reason is on the same reason that company are still not digitalized. I just think, like very small business and so on. You don't have, but it would be a shame. And the reason is, for me, the main benefit for brands is the relationships they are building with their community. So on the way we should think building community around our project is like giving autonomy and perspectives through the community. So it's been like for a brand, when you move from Web2, everything was decided in terms of marketing, in terms of growth, decide in our meeting, in our company and so on. So we were deciding which campaign we do, which product we want to launch, how should be the product and so on. So if you look at big company, they were, let's say, almost dictates the market. When you move in the Web3, you will decentralize this decision. You will decentralize the way people decide for what they want in terms of product and how they want to promote it as well. But company, to make sure they get the best of the benefit from Web3, they need to change their mindset. And their mindset is to say, okay, now it's not about us, we decide. We need to be a guide. We need to be people who will create a source community. And in this community, what we want to create is like a narrative, of course, which makes the things, which give a color to the community. But we need to find a way to give autonomy to these people and to give them perspective. When you keep that, building your community, you get the best of the Web3 actually.
And giving this power to the people, like what is the gain for brand? Like what do they gain by doing that?
If 5 continues,
Yeah,
they gain a big traction. It's huge. I mean, building community and gives them the autonomy, to decide about what's happened around the brand, and to give them the perspective that this brand gonna give you a better status, that you're gonna make money, or that you're gonna save money, or you're gonna experience what you did in Web2 but a different way, a better way. This bring tons of people around your project. I mean, if I take the expense of my company, we do a wallet. What is sexy in a wallet? Nothing, absolutely nothing. But the fact that we are creating, we are giving perspective of this wallet have new technologies. They can help you. They can secure your funds better than other company, and of course better than Web2. People are interested with that. But what they want also is, like, when they join us in the company, they want to say, hey, I have some knowledge in terms of development, tech. I have my experience in Web3, and I would like to share that. So we need to position the company not like as an innovation-driven company or so on. We have to say we are community-driven, in which we try to init innovation talk. And as soon as you define or give a place to anyone in your community, then you thrive. If you thrive, you get a big traction. If you get a big traction, your project going to be successful.
I'd love to add on to that, if I may.
Sure.
And I agree, Bertrand. And that's a good segue into kind of a creator economy. Again, I'm gonna go back and use Fortnite or Roblox as an example. The reason why we've seen exponential growth in those two projects over the last 3 years is because of the creator economy, because of them giving access to their users to build alongside them and with them. So it's all about co-creation. It's all about collaboration. It's giving, I think the key word here is giving your users agency to make choices, to build things. And then you as a company, if you have, I believe every Web3 strategy should have a creator economy strategy behind it, or any Web3 project should have that behind it, because what you're going to see is going to be exponential growth, right? Once you get everybody around you, all your community who bought in, they're going to have trust. There's going to be confidence. It's going to create a stronger engagement and relationship. And from what we're seeing, again, from Fortnite, Roblox, is just the exponential growth that comes with that. So again, the focus for us at Virtually Human is exactly that, is by taking those heuristics and that familiarity and what works in Web2, using that, coupling on blockchain technology, so you now own these creations and you actually can make a return on these creations by owning them if you're successful. Again, it incentivizes people to build. It incentivizes people to create. It incentivizes them to collaborate. You're just going to have exponential growth as a brand here, and I think that's super, super powerful.
Yeah, thank you so much for elaborating on that, Chris. I think Matt just accidentally dropped off. He's in Berlin at the moment. Oh, he jumped back on. So he'll probably have lagging. I wanted to leave the floor if you guys wanted to add anything before we start doing questions, because I would like to give a chance for the audience to jump on and ask any questions to the panel on anything that they want to know about the Web3 or Web2 merging into Web3 and what that looks like. Did you guys want to add anything else?
Yeah, I just got. Oh, sorry. I've got one last thing, and it comes back to the whole FUD and the FTX scandal that's going on right now. I think it's important to understand that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, while cryptocurrency uses blockchain technology, the technology behind blockchain doesn't have to be tied to monetization. It's technology that can be tied to experiences, that could be tied to in our case entertainment and games, but it can be tied to so much more. It is so powerful, the thought that you are going to be able to own your own medical records one day. You'll have your own digital passport. You'll have a whole, everything will be owned and by you and not a third party. So again, with the current climate of today, financial crisis looming, we're in, and et cetera, and then on top of that, FTX. Of course, you're going to have people out there that are going to go like, "Oh, I'm done. Web3 is not going to happen." But don't forget, like in the early days of the internet, people thought the same thing. They thought that this internet thing is a FUD. It's just going to blow over. What are we going to use it for? Look at us now. We're Web 1. We're Web 2. Again, I believe we're Web 2.5 at the moment. We're going to go Web 3, and it's a technological evolution. Don't let the technology's great. There's always going to be bad players. Don't let them step back, look at the bigger picture, and don't let these rotten apples spoil it for everybody else.
I agree with that, Chris, and I just want to add also, it can happen anytime. So it could happen anytime where any government, any banking institutions, anyone at all in the big sector could actually come on and sort of onboard all their users. And there's a lot of these big organizations and governments with lots of potential people to come on straight away. So I think it really depends on, who is in the space building right now and what are they doing. And, we saw with the FTX saga, bad actors need to be removed. And once these bad actors get out of the scene, there's not going to be an issue, I think, when there's cleanliness, so to speak, in the space. People are there to provide real utility, real use case of the technology of the blockchain, because I've been in this space for about a year and a half. I've never seen anything better than it, and I was there during the internet Web2 startup time as well. I created eBay before it was first eBay, and I sold that company off. So I've seen what technology does to mass industries, and it can happen overnight. So just want everyone to be aware of that. Always do your research. I know, Belinda, you used the word hype a lot before. When I started in this space, I actually banned that word in my Discord, and I banned that word in anything said by my communities, because to me, I know hype, is not everlasting. It is just short-lived. And if we want to really truly build something which is amazing and welcoming for everyone else, we need to actually attach true technological utility to it. And that's what we are super focused on. And hopefully other founders and other creators out there that are doing the same will help and welcome everyone else.
Amen. I do use that word a lot. I'll stop now. Did you have anything else you wanted to say, Prashant or Bertrand, before we go to the floor and ask questions?
I think the main point that Chris also elaborated is it's our job to transition Web2 audience to Web3, and I think that's very key point for everyone to understand, because Web3 is great and there is already adoption by a lot of people in Web3. So when companies go to Web3, they have a crowd to deal with. But how we transition people who are currently in Web2 to start using Web3 and grow this audience into giving them a brand new experience and brand new ways of not just accessing the service but being part of the community of these various brands and take the ownership of that. That's probably the key way going forward. Yep. Thanks.
Awesome. Bertrand, did you have anything else you wanted to leave?
No, I think I would be happy to hear a question from the floor.
Awesome. So I don't know if you guys know how the LinkedIn audio works. It's very similar to Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. So if you want to raise your hand, if you have any questions that you would like to ask the panel, please feel free to raise your hand now. and we'll bring you up to ask your question and speak. There was a couple that raised your hand earlier. I don't know if there was anyone else that wanted to ask any questions.
Linda, while you're bringing them up, maybe I can elaborate on a few other things that I've seen personally myself and share those experiences there. So one cool thing I saw lately is there's a mob from they're from India, but they're also based in UK and they're everywhere. They're launching so they've got I think their test net on the 30th and their main net early next year. But what actually made it different? They are a layer 1 chain called Fire Chain. What actually made me, I don't like, new like big chains and layer 2s and all that, because I think that there's just so much gaps and holes that needs to be filled. But what I like about them is, the sustainability aspect. And on top of that, when I vetted the project personally myself, I found that they have over 600 projects that already pre-signed up to them, including a lot of military, government, and we're talking about big economies, the MENA region, the Southeast Asia region. So, these are billions and billions of potential users that could be onboarded almost overnight. So that's what I wanted to elaborate further on, that all these things could happen just overnight. And it actually, what Prashant said before, and I think echoing what everyone else said here as well, it's about how we as Web3 creators and founders, the ones that ability to know how to produce tech and use and take advantage of the tech, to welcome the new people on board. So whether it's entertainment, whether it's real estate, whether it's finance, whether it's gaming, whether it's government systems or health systems or sustainability systems or whatever, I think we got to create ways on ease of onboarding, and whether it's not using the terms, making it just familiar to everyone, making it dumb it all the way down, things like that. I think that is what will spark the whole new phase over.
Mm-hmm. Sorry if I bounce on what you say, Matthew. I totally agree. I mean, on the financial world, in financial industry, especially in mine, we see like huge wave of adoption right now. I mean, a lot of people, coming on the different Twitter account, Discord, and so on. And those people are seeking like solution with much better UX. So they are not tech people. They are people who are looking for like new solution in terms of finance. So going away from the traditional finance industry and seeking solution into the crypto world. And which make like since, let's say about 6 months, the discussion on how we can onboard this mass on the ZK rollup and Starknet change. And it changed on two main topics. First topic is security, of course, how we can increase security to make sure there is no more fraud or scam. But the second one is about UX. The industry suffer of UX standard, but they are involved. And I say it's involved because we see like coming new type of innovation. And I have two in mind, which are like, which we describe really like how the industry is advancing in terms of innovation. So first one is, if you use a wallet today, and I think it's something still crazy, if someone hack your wallet, he could store like all your phone. So if you are using one of these main wallet with a fox head, for example, if someone hack your wallet, he can take everything in few seconds. It's happened to me actually. I had only few bucks on this wallet, but it still happened. But now with innovation, we saw a system which called like withdrawal limit. Exactly the same thing that you have on your credit card. It's mean like you can set limit, telling like you can't transfer fund for more like say $1,000 per day. With a traditional wallet, you can't do that. But now with the development of UX and the different technology on chain, certain type of wallet can do that. And this, it's a big move to onboard this, the web2, let's say the web2 wave, because those people, when they arrive on the web3, they are looking like to access web3. How do you access? You access with a wallet, but you see like wallet have terrible UX, terrible UI. But then in terms of security, you still wonder how it works behind. The second innovation that I saw recently being released, it's what is called hardware signer. I guess like most of experienced people in Web3 use Ledger or Trezor. So it's been like you have some fund in your digital wallet, but to secure it, you transfer it in a kind of special USB, and you store this USB stick somewhere at home or wherever you want, but your money is in this USB stick. So the new innovation makes that you don't need this USB stick anymore to store and to secure your fund. You can do it directly from your iPhone. So your smartphone plays the role of a hardware wallet. So it's mean for someone who have no idea about technology, they just need to activate this function into your wallet, and then your funds are totally safe. Even if you lost your smartphone, even if your smartphone is break, you can recover all your funds in a new smartphone, which is a game changer. When we describe the technology, it's quite heavy, so I will not do it here. But the point is, for someone coming from Web2, this should be a standard. Like, yes, I buy some fund with a wallet, and those funds should be like completely secure and belong to me. So this is when you asked Prashant before, what do we need to make sure that we will onboard correctly people from Web2 to Web3? For me, it's like UX and security first. Then
Definitely.
experience, of course, because this is what people want to have more fun.
Yeah, really good advice there. Thank you so much, Bertrand, for that and sharing that with the stage. There was a question that popped up if you wanted to pop back up and raise your hand, but I had a question that comes through from Tristan Boehm. He's currently on the train, so he couldn't raise his hand and ask. So I'll just ask the question to the panel. So the question is, we are currently a Web3 startup, and at the moment our token is used as a reward. We stay away from words like crypto as it still has a very scary stigma. Adoption will come in time, but do we need to distinguish between Web3 from an investment opportunity? That's the question.
Okay, I'll chime in a little bit there. So the issue we've got here is firstly, what Bertrand said before about security, that's paramount and that's crucial. But I think to answer his question here, we need more education around what actually it is. So if we use words like the token is your reward, what exactly is that reward? What can I do with it? Similar when you use words like staking and when you use words like burn, people can get confused because they're not used to. What does staking do for me? What does burning a token do for me? They don't understand that shorting the supply would be better. So I think a lot of this has to do also with the education side of things. And I know a lot of metaverse projects are diving into that education side. But this is where I think the gap is right now. And to be honest, how do we educate the masses? Because I've seen so many great educational platforms that when you dive into it specifically talks about it. It's about and those that are curious go and find it. But the rest, everyone that just sits still and just waits what happened, they're not going to get that information unless it comes from a higher authority or some sort of regulator or some sort of government or something like that. So I think that's where we can focus a bit more. So yeah, in answer to the question about token rewards, I would say you still need to provide that education. So you can do your part individually by providing your own videos. And I find videos is the best way to entice people. Today, you don't have to be professional videos, that made by, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 kind of firms. You can just do one-on-one personal videos or really raw videos that will, touch the user or, get the user's personal sort of experience in there and speak to them directly from the heart, because that's what, when I started, that's what I did. I just did a lot of these kind of, webcam, straight videos, not high end. I'm not a video person, but I get on there and I just tell people and educate people what's going on. Somehow rather, my videos really got viral in the MENA region, so Africa, Southeast Asia. A lot of them there found out what we're doing, and they continue to learn every day. So yeah, I would say do your own part as a creator, as a founder, and educate your audience first before anything else, and then together, more of us do that. I think it'll be better for everyone.
Oh, agree, 100%. I think the video thing really works, and people seem to forget the whole production and filming and editing doesn't really work as much anymore. Organic is definitely key, especially if you're trying to build a community in Web3. I definitely agree on that, Matthew.
Can I add to that just real quick? Sorry.
Yes.
If you don't mind. I also I agree with everything Matt said. I think it's awesome. And just to answer that question as well, I think you can build up your experience to be the teacher as well. Like, think about how you can simplify. Think about how you can also build, like, again, I always come back to heuristical and familiar Web2 experiences. How can you incorporate these in so it's familiar? Education, of course, is key. Education gives confidence. Repetition, it's up to us. Like, the amount of repetition we do as speakers is important. And you might catch yourself going, "Oh man, I'm just reading from a script almost," but it's not. It's because each room we step into with hundreds of with listeners, you're able to each one teach one and reach one, right? Like, so it's important that we keep speaking about it. It's important that we keep educating. With education comes confidence. And then to the people out there who haven't tried it yet, jump in. You have to go in and try it, because through experience, like, again, experience is your best teacher. You're going to learn what it's like. And to Bertrand's point, like, UX and UI is so important. User experience, user flow. We have a thing called time to fun. We have to be able to, like, people vote with their feet and they'll go where the fun is. If you're sitting there clicking MetaMask and signing and have to transfer this and transfer that before getting to the fun, well, that's a clunky and an experience full of friction. So that's also a focus point and a focus area for anybody who's building in the space, is how to make it seamless. Like, how can we actually do all the heavy lifting below the scenes and give you that standard credit card kind of purchase that you're used to, and we do the carrying underneath. And then later on in your experience, we help transition you through experience, through repetitiveness, through engagement into Web 2.5, and then further into Web 3. So,
my gosh, you just hit a nail on the head. So true. I agree with everything you just said. Anthony, thank you so much for jumping up on stage. I know you've got a question to ask the panel, so I'll let you ask your question.
Thanks, Belinda. And yeah, those last comments from Matt and Chris really hit home as well, because the company I'm part of at the moment, we're really going through a stage at the moment. We've got some content. We're looking to get into the VR world. We've got our media done. We're now going through kind of the final launch phases of the product and the experience we're looking to take to market. But I'm sure our conversations with our content creators have all been more along Web 2. I just want to know any kind of tips that we need to be adopting to our technology that need to be Web 3 ready, and what will make our kind of product, roll out well to the start, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3. But what kind of lessons have you guys can share with me that what I need to know to launch my product?
I think what Chris said before was really good. The steps to fun. So whatever your objective is for your user perspective, steps to that objective. That's number one. Number two is put videos out there. Like, it's not a problem at all. In Web2, we kind of understand and are used to how we operate the interface. But in Web3, you get a bit confused sometimes. You need to connect the wallet. You need to mint. You need to do this and that. So I would say, do like a really, really short explainer video, like a 1-minute one or something like that, because that's the kind of the attention span of people these days. Even that's 1 minute too much, and just make it easier for you. Put it in front there. So I'll give you this from a direct experience of one of our partners that we help, one of the 150 partners that we've helped in the space. They were having trouble in their mint. I'm not going to name particular names, but they were having trouble in their mint, and they were a bit complex. Their solution was a difficult one as well. It was something really disrupting a new industry altogether. So I told them, I said, as simple as just making your whole process, step one. That's it. Then forget about step 1, step 2, step 3, add to cart. You don't need all of that. Just make it one page, put the video there, and then do another thing. You can actually use this. It's not wrong at all. Use Google Analytics to help you. to see how long people are actually staying on that page and how many people you're losing from that page. Because then you will know exactly what works and what doesn't work. So it's still okay to use Web2 technologies to help you, data logging to help you, understand your user journey a bit better. But that design there is paramount. Don't overcomplicate things. Make it simple, because I can guarantee you one thing, that you will always be changing it no matter what. There's no one way. And you can ask Chris, you can ask anyone who has built actual Web3 applications, even Prashant as well. We work on several projects. There's not one way you do it. You have to try different ways. And eventually one way, or the way that will work the best, will work for that period. And then, moving forward in the future, you got to change it again. So just try things out. Don't go full bang, spending so much money into one big convoluted system. Just try simple things out first to start with.
Okay. What about
can I just add in there? Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. 100% listen to the data. Like, listen to the science. Track what you're doing, and then also, again, to the Google Analytics point, look at what that data is telling you, and that helps steer you. But I have actually a question back to you. Like, I don't know much about your project, so that's where I first would ask: is your project, do you have a Web3 strategy, or do you need to be into Web3, or are you Web2? Could you just be Web2 focused? Like, it's a bit hard to answer that question without knowing enough about what you're doing.
Well, most of the experience is going to be virtual, right? So it's that kind of metaverse experience is what we're offering.
Right. Okay. Do you want people to own their creations?
Well, this is it. We're encouraging people to come in and build their own worlds in our world.
Beautiful.
But we just want to make sure that what we're designing is ready for the future as well as today, because the product's almost ready to go.
Well, that's awesome. And then to Matt's point as well, or to Matthew's point, I mean, you're gonna iterate, you're gonna pivot, you're gonna have to, and you're gonna make mistakes, and there's a saying that we love to use is you're gonna fail forward. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. Like, innovation doesn't come without risk, and you're not gonna risk, no risk, no reward, and you're gonna make mistakes in that when you're building. So, and we've made plenty. Anybody who's followed us at Virtually Human, we've made plenty, but we're progressing as we go, and we pivot, and we have to, because, pardon my language, shit changes, right? And so you have to be agile and nimble, and be able to kind of move around the different things that come at you. But if you're building in the metaverse and it's VR, and you want people to co-create and collaborate and build alongside you, again, look what it did to Fortnite. Look what it did to Roblox. They're not Web3. But if you then want to add that blockchain technology on top of that and give people ownership of their creations, incentivizing it through perhaps tokenization or tokens or whatever, I think that's an amazing approach. I mean, that's definitely where my heart is, and that's where Web3 really is powerful, right?
If I can add maybe a little method, Anthony. What works in Web3 is, of course, this community-led approach. To simplify the method and try to describe it vocally, it's like try to draw like 5 circles, small one, a bigger one, and 5 like that. In the middle, it should be like your community. Who are you? What you do? What type of industry you are? But really, really, really segmented. And then in the second one, you make like, is this very small community in which bigger community it is, and this bigger community in which type of bigger community it is. Identify those community. As soon as you have that, try to go into the first circle and dominate this circle with, let's say, online networking. With your content, as I met you, do some videos, people will see you, they start to interact with you, and then you will know each other you will know each other, 5, 10 people maximum. Then move to the next community, which is a bit bigger, and then do the same work and so on. And by doing that, you will I don't say the word dominated, but it's what comes to my mind. You will dominate per all these different communities, and this is a way you can grow, and you can grow really fast, actually.
Okay.
So less traditional marketing approach, but more like very focused, let's say, online networking through communities.
Okay.
Also, you will see that by choosing community, you have communities who are growing really fast. And it's been like when someone come into this community, they are just like crazy. They want to follow everyone. They want to listen everyone. They want to know about all the projects from this community. It's quite true. So if you are positioned in this community, you will get natural awareness. So the advantage with Web3 and why we do this community-led approach, it's because there is a huge growth. You don't need to fight to find growth, but to identify those growth pillars and to stick on them, you will grow naturally.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, 1000%. Thank you so much, guys, for answering that for Anthony. Anthony, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I've got quite a few more questions, but I'll probably reach out to yourself, Belinda, and then probably connect with some of the guys on the call today and fire a few more at them if that's going to be okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Anthony, feel free to reach out, buddy. Anybody who's building, this is all about collaboration and helping each other. So feel free to reach out.
Someone told me before this, saying that in the Web3 space, the pie is so freaking small right now that what we got to do as founders in the space is help grow this pie out so that we can distribute more of it later down the track. So either way, always reach out to any existing Web3 founders. They would tell you exactly what's going on. They're not going to do anything to harm you or anything like that. They will tell you actually from their actual experiences. Now, take it with a grain of salt as well, because everything changes all the time. What happened, the meta that was happening 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months, a year ago is totally different. So just be smart and think outside the box always. I always tell people, I said, every single thing you got to do is a bit different than what you did previously to make it the experience better. But one thing is for sure, I'm going to say this, for those of you that also built in this space, you will understand. People follow the money a lot in this space, and giving back to the community is very, very important, because that's how you actually get your base, and then from your base you evolve into other things, which people have different sort of typical human sort of philosophical ways of life. But yeah, you start always with I want this, how do I get this, and then moving from that there to build your actual true base. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on the panel tonight. I really appreciate your time. I know we've gone like 7 minutes over. It's been just over an hour. Is there anything else that you guys would like to leave with the audience or mention anything before we all jump off?
Yeah, just want to say thank you. Sorry, go, Chris. Go ahead first.
All right, no, yeah, same. Thank you for having us. This is important. Education is key. Again, education builds confidence. To anybody who's out there who's building, we are still early. I've said that for 4 years now since we started building, and we still are, because again, one of the key points here is the onboarding from Web 2 to Web 3. But what you have to look at, we are in a bear market. Crypto exchanges are down. There's FUD everywhere. This is a build market for the real players. This is really important. This is really this is going to filter out the weeds, and the people who are going to remain standing on the other side of this bear market are the real builders, the real innovators. We believe we're positioned in that space. I believe everybody in this panel is positioned in that space. And yeah, don't be afraid to take risks. Just keep building and reach out. We're still early. We're still learning. There's still going to be a lot of pivots. Don't be afraid to fail, because that's where we learn the best. And thanks for having us.
Thank you, Chris. Just echoing what Chris is saying, definitely thank you, Belinda, Prashant, and everyone here today for this awesome discussion. Yeah, man, all of us are going to continue to build no matter what. Look at CZ from Binance. He's building today, even though he's still 10 times bigger than the second biggest centralized exchange. He just builds on another level, But yeah, we continue going to build, and I think you're right, Chris, 100%. This FTX thing that happened, just so that everyone can take positive out from this year. The ones that are going to pull through this whole bear market and get out of it well and do really, really well. And just as a reminder, Google, Amazon, all these big Web2 companies started when it was the recession period. Okay, so there's potential possibilities here for anyone out there that wants to actually build well in Web3 to build right now and get out of this and do well for everyone else. So thank you very much. I'm freezing my ass off. I'm going to go and get ready for this Berlin thing. The doors are opening right now. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, guys.
Good luck, Matt.
Thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate it. all the way from
Yeah.
Berlin. Bertrand, yes, did you want to say anything?
I wanted to say bye to Matt, simply.
Okay.
Sorry, as a conclusion, sorry, I just got the question. No, I mean, it was nice to be with you. It's good. It's really good to dive, with other people from the ecosystem, which is not specifically in your industry. It's like now I'm really focused on the finance part and how to grow, a project into this finance, decentralized finance industry. But having Matt and Chris here, giving more perspective on like entrepreneurship and gaming, metaverse. It was really fantastic. I'm just my mind is full of ideas now. I have to write everything on my whiteboard because you gave me tons of ideas on how I should move my next step. So yeah, it was fantastic to be here. Thank you.
I love it. Thanks, Bertrand. I appreciate that. I just want to thank every single one of you in the listening and on the panel for joining this LinkedIn audio. It's things like this, bringing a community together and just talking about the space of Web3. Exactly what Chris was saying. It's literally just educating you guys for free. We're all here doing this for free to give information to you guys and educate you guys. And I think this is all we really need to do ongoing in the Web3 space. So I really appreciate every one of you for jumping on. And thank you so much to my co-host, Prashant.
Thank you.
The tech head of xenabler, for jumping on. And if there's anything that you want to leave, Prashant, with the room before we jump off.
I guess
Anything that you want to
you all already covered, but yeah, transitioning people, helping them to transition from Web 2 to Web 3, and education. I think education is the way to go. To not only to teach other people like what we already know, but learn for ourselves as well. And that's all we can do in Web 3 until it becomes like commonly known.
100%, and just take lots of risks. Risk.
Definitely.
You need to take risks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night. All right.